Just as we discard the bottle after milk has been drained out of it, so we retire the civil servant after we've made use of his services. I wish to remind viewers that my sayings have nothing to do with the content of the video. They're just there, they have no link at all. I remember my friend Mr. Kunto asked me about it. He said he doesn't see the relation. I said, no, there's not supposed to be any connection between my sayings and the video. You're welcome, viewers. Good morning. Bonjour. Sabahul khair. Kwallafia ekaro. Ansuma. Daswa. Memuachi. In our last video, we finished with Lagos life, or Lagos weekend. We did the back cover, and that was it. We are not going back there. Today, we're starting with my autobiography to mark my 70th birthday. I've never ever celebrated my birthday, and this year I am not, except that I'm doing it on YouTube to tell people about myself. Yes, I remember a number of ladies on TikTok have asked to know me. They requested it in my inbox. Even today, I got one. I can't remember the name. And I told her to keep cool. Sorry, did I say today? Even yesterday, I got one. And I asked her to keep her cool. I will do it on there. She'll get my answer in my YouTube of today. And so that is it. So I'll begin to read an autobiography of myself that I didn't finish. Very luckily, I've written the date that I started it. And you will laugh. It's more than 2 decades. I couldn't complete it due to circumstances beyond my control. Due to hardship, some people will see challenges. It's not been easy for me. I've not been stable. There have been so many problems on my way. You can see here, Monday, December 17, 2001. And I even put the time there, 9:17 a.m. You can see it. And viewers, I will again ask you to bear with me if I get somewhere and find some difficulty in reading because it's a long time and I'm more aged, 23 years or so, or 22 years, so my sight may not be very good. So bear with me, even though it's not the Lagos weekend, which was torn in some places. Namshi, it started like this. When I asked my dad what my date of birth was, he entered into his room and brought out a small notebook. In the book, he got written the the dates of birth of my senior half-brother, Audu. That means his mother is not my mother, and my mother is not his mother. Where there are different people. He was born before me. Of my senior brother, Audu, myself, and that of my junior sister, Fati. My dad was illiterate, but enlightened. Full stop. A tractor driver, he had worked with the white, with, he, sorry, with, he had worked under white masters, mainly British, during the colonial era. My date of birth was November 24th, 1953. This fell on a Tuesday. I cannot remember exactly what my age was at that time. I guess, however, that I was 13 or 14 when I was preparing for the common entrance examinations that would send me to the secondary school. Over a decade later, my mom told me I was born on a Monday at sundown, not Tuesday, but Monday at sundown. Mm. That is just as night set in. Later, my dad explained that that Monday was over and that soon as night sets, as soon as night sets in, it was counted with the following day. So in other words, Monday night is the day is over. So that Monday is not there. It's supposed to be Tuesday. The night starts from night to daytime. Tuesday, yes, from night to daytime. Tuesday, Monday night is counted Tuesday to the following day. Following day. So my mom was specific. I was driven. I was given birth on the ninth of Monday, November 23rd, 1953. My parents separated when I was probably 3 or 4 years of age and never reunited as husband and wife till they both died. When I was born, my dad did not have a house of his own. He lived in a rented hall and chamber in Nyankpala. My mom was a native of Nyankpala and had her family house there. I suppose as a result, there was not much inconvenience as my mom was probably shuttling between her house and my dad's. She was illiterate too. I think I have their pictures here. This is the picture of my mom. I managed to get it. Well, the Holy Books tell us to honor our parents. I shouldn't be shy about anything concerning them. So this is the picture of my mom. Though she didn't take care of me, just left me and went away for my father to do the caretaking. And this is the picture of my dad when he was old. I haven't found the remaining of his nice pictures, but I think I have one or two somewhere. He was very, very beautiful. Let me say beautiful when he was young. I can testify to that. Somebody broke into my box, Fatih Baba, when I left the box with her, broke into my box and stole my things, and with the pictures inclusive. It pains me a lot up to now. But this picture was when he was a bit old. And this is my dad's mother in the middle with gray hair. You can see her. She's the only one with gray hair, surrounded by children of my house in Tamale. She loved me very much and she was very beautiful. In those days, we didn't have police. No army, I don't think we had it. No, army meet, I think we had army, yes, but no police. There was no police service. Wives could be stolen or confiscated, taken by force. And that was what happened to her. The Moshis came and took her away from the Wallers. My father is Walla, and she is Walla Kantonsi. Stole her away without the knowledge of the Wallers. When they realized it, they also organized themselves and went to the Moshis and took her away by force. So woman was like property. It still happens today. And took her away. And that was what happened. So my relations, but by then she had already given birth to a woman whose father was Moshi. Let me say Moshi. And therefore, you see that we are related to the Moshis. After my father After she was brought back, she gave birth to my father. But then her daughter, her, that's my father's senior sister, being a woman, looked for the mother, who is my grandmother, and came to her and took my brother as a brother. So my father, who had nothing to do with Moshe's, had a sister whose father was Moshe, and we were connected. So I've shown the two. So you can see my grandma. I can see she was very beautiful. I could see it. You can see her gray hair here. When she died, the elders said she was 140 years. I don't know. I did an estimate, and I think she was about 120 or so. I could be wrong because there are so many question marks. During those days, nobody knew uh, what menopause, the age of menopause was. Things change. Whether she gave birth at 45 or 50 or 60, nobody knows. I made my own estimate and I set the her age as 120. Mm, because my dad died, sorry, my grandfather died during the second Boer War in South Africa. My grandfather was a soldier during the colonial rule. He was taken to South Africa to fight the First World War. He did. He came home. And during the Second Boer War, so I did not say First World War, I'm sorry, the First Boer War. Then he came back. During the Second Boer War, he went back again. He was taken back again. He went and he never returned. But then my father was born. In other words, she impregnated my grandmother before going for the war and never returned. He died there and he was buried there. And if we start from there, the Boer War was, well, there are so many narrations. I think some say it started around 1900 or 1903. I calculated the things from there and I think I had 120. So that was it. She was illiterate too. My dad's native hometown, native hometown is Wa in the then upper region of Ghana, now Upper West region. He was born and bred in Accra and other southern Ghanaian town. Okay, and he was born in Accra, but then he was born in Accra, bred in Accra and other southern Ghanaian towns, like Kasua and Gariba. Today we don't add the Garba, it is just Kasua, but actually it's supposed to be Kasua and Garba. eh? It was a market, maybe started by a man called Garba, a Hausa man. Then Kwabna Ando, he stayed in Kwabna Ando too. Now they just call it Kwabna. Then in Sawam. Okay. Umoru was his name, Englishized as Imoro. Because he was a Wala man from Wa, he was called Imoru Wala. His father, i.e., my paternal grandfather, was called Uthman, Englishized to Osman. So Uthman, the English people were here with us, and they are not used to the Arab They call it Osman. Okay. My grandfather, Osman, was my grandfather, Osman, as narrated by my dad, fought the two Boer Wars. Yes, I've said it already. Fought the two Boer Wars or Boer Wars during the colonial era. According to history, the first war was in 1987. The second war started October 11th, 1999. Uh, Usually they are sent there before the war even starts. So I think he went there before 1899. So therefore, he was born he could have been born before 1899. The question is, how old was my grandmom then? Hmm? If she was 40 or 35, we can calculate the age from there. If she was 50 or 60, people still give birth at 60 or still give birth at 60 in those days. Even these days, we can also calculate from there. But then I came to an estimate of 120 years. So the second started October 11 and ended May 21st, 1902. That was my finance. Maybe viewers, you can do your finance and help me. My dad's mother is my paternal grandmother. My dad's mother, i.e., my paternal grandmother by name Memunatu, carried my dad's pregnancy when my grandfather left for the second war. She gave birth to my dad during the war. My grandfather failed to return. He was killed. Full stop. My grandmother Memunatu was in turn born 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 to a Wala father and a Kantonsi Sisala mother. So my grandmother's father was Wala and the mother was Sisala Kantonsi mother. She was beautiful. She was forcibly taken by a Moshi man and she delivered a baby girl whom we later call Mberi. Mberi, I think Mberi means sister. My father used to call her Mberi. Before she was retrieved, I use the word retrieved in inverted commas, before she was retrieved and married to my grandfather. This baby girl, Mberi, was so close to her and later became a good sister to my father, even though their fathers were different, i.e., were different, Moshi, and Wala, respectively. This association with the Moshis still exists. In fact, I grew up partly in the Moshi family in Tamale, but earlier in a before then, earlier in Kantonsi Sisala home in the same Tamale. Nyampala, my dad recounts, was a small village. All the houses were round in shape and also individual rooms and were roofed with thatch, into brackets grass. Zinc was not common at the time. An exception was the government built quarters, that's by the British, and also the bungalows for the whites. They built nice bungalows for themselves. Very spacious, uh, big bungalows surrounded by big spaces. They did well. I tell you, the colonials did well for us. We drove them away and we took the bungalows. And when you go to see the bungalows after they went, you wouldn't like it. I tell you, sometimes let's tell the truth. Hmm? I've been born to be honest, to tell people the truth. After they were gone, you go and see some of the bungalows. They had been abandoned like that. You see smoke. They packed outside. Outside it was full of firewood, pots, and the walls became black. Well, no, that's not what the colonialists left for us. Hmm? Well, let me tell you, I say I'm truthful. Uh, Bungalows for government bungalows built quarters and after and also the bungalows for the whites. Both were separated from the village proper. There was also a workshop and a training center, which the local people used to call train center. And train center simply means training center. We didn't know English that by then. We weren't speaking English. So training center, we used to call it train center. My dad recalled when one day I was nearly engulfed by fire. I was sitting by fire when it caught the lower part of my upper dress and bent the left part of my abdomen. The scar is still on me as I write, measuring about 10 centimeters at length and 4 at least. Not too horrible anyway. It's just some black spots there. Some time later, my father got a house of his own. In those days, land was never bought, nor houses sold, at least in the villages. Even today, there are some villages where the chiefs don't sell land or house. No, they don't. They say land is not for sale. Even today, we have it in some villages. Okay, somebody abandons their house for another village, and another person goes to greet the village chief with some kola nuts, and he is made to occupy it. Due to a permanent separation from my mom, I never got to know her. I never got to know her yes, ancestry well. I believe both were parents. I believe both her parents and grandparents and great grandparents were all the Gumbes. In those days, in that era, is it tautology? In those days, in that area, people never traveled to or enter. What word did I hear? Or people never traveled or intermarried. Mm, Full stop. Travelers rather got to them due to British government and Gold Coast government cooperation in agriculture in Nyampala. So the British came there. It was a small, tiny village, and then they saw the place fine and they settled there and they enlightened us. Okay. Uh, my dad saw I was not taking good care of in Nyampala, so he took me to my grandmother in Tamale on a bicycle. In those days, lorries were very scarce, let alone luxurious cars and buses. Some of us never knew even taxis were lorries, wooden lorries in those days. So the word lorry, I'm surprised that that word is vanished. We used to have lorries, not cars, not buses. And the seats were made of wood. You sit, you are not careful, the wood can come off. The seat can come off, and the weight of all the people can put pressure on your feet, and you may have to shout for them to get up. Okay. My dad said he came from work one afternoon, and I walked from my mom's family home, a long distance for my age, and at that time crying of hunger. The babysitter followed up, and my dad asked why I was not fed. Said she, "We have pounded fufu and given him his share since morning, and he has abandoned it and ran here to complain of hunger." That was the answer of the babysitter. Okay, then this is my writing. Every Ghanaian knows that fufu is taken best while the soup is hot. Raw fufu itself is never hot. It hardens and becomes unenjoyable sometime after pounding. Sometimes it's hardened, sometimes it softens, becomes like porridge. In short, it is taken fresh, and so if it is pounded only when it is needed, and so it is pounded only when it is needed. Yes, that's the nature of fufu. When you go to the pounders, those who sell food, sometimes when you go, they have to pound it again for you. So only when it is needed. Uh, my dad inquired, "Why should you pound fufu in the morning, flood it with soup, and expect this boy to continue eating it till night?" That was the question my father asked the babysitter and my mother's family. They were not taking good care of me. So you see, when one is young, consciously or unconsciously, one knows what is good for him. My dad said he bought some kinky and I ate all of it. Hmm? Uh, I ate all of it, astonishment with some sardines. I ate all of no, I ate all of it uh, to his astonishment with some sardines. Kenke in those days used to be like small pyramids. Mhm. It's flat like this, and then on top it's like this, big ones. That's my left, my hand, flat line is that, and then the kenke is on top, big ones. So he bought some with some sardines. mm, with some sardines. I ate 3 units. That's three of the kenkes. In northern Ghana, kenke was made in the shape of a pyramid, measuring at least 9 by 12 centimeters, with a height of at least 9 centimeters. I might be exaggerating, but it was like that. So whether I was able to eat the three or not, I don't know. Mm. That was the evening he took me to my grandmom in Tamale. So he said, "No, I won't let my boy suffer this way." He took me on a bicycle to Tamale and dumped me with my grandmother, Memunatu, to Tamale. I was too young to know exactly what my age was. Dash, I suppose 3 to 4 years. However, I remember that I was there with my junior sister, Fatih. I believe she came later. Yeah, I believe she never had mother's milk. I believe she came later to join me. I can't remember. I believe she was brought later to me to join me. Okay, I finished it. So two of us, together with our grandmother, grandmom was hardworking. I remember she sold boiled granules and bambara beans. We used to call it bambara beans. They are round beans like that. And bambara beans. My dad was also sending down money to her to take care of her and us. Every year, he would send down a ram for her to celebrate Eid al-Adha during to celebrate the Muslim festivals. I think the two of them. The, the festival during which Muslims make pilgrimage to Mecca. On such occasions, Grandma would fill a pot with pieces of fried meat, including the internal organs, and smoke some, a stock for later use. We would play outside until hunger would remind us that it did not fancy the play. We would get to the pots of meat in the room, eat, drink water, and sometime and continue with our play uh, with intermittent gulping of water. Lest I forget, lest I forget, it is only Fati with whom I share same father and same mother. Today she's called Fatin Kaka, and Fatin Kaka means Fati of grandmother. Kaka in Hausa means either grandmother or grandfather. So she's because she was taking care of my grandmother, she was called Fatin Kaka. Audu, a senior brother, had a different mother previously divorced. My father later married another Togumba girl from Nyankpala. I think here I forgot something. When he was in Nyankpala, I think the chief of Nyankpala gave him another woman called Abiba. She was barren and she was to take care of me. She took care of me, and she was not treating me very well either. She was very wicked to me, I would say so. Mm. But then my father, pardon me to say, liked women. So he was just looking. There was nothing he could do anyway. I think that was when I was sent back from Tamale because of because my grandmother thought I was going to be a bad boy. Mm. Okay. Then it was after then I can now continue. My father later married another Dagumba girl from Palaga, and gave birth to many children. My mom also gave birth to many children with different men, at least different men, at least five. One died later. So when my father married my mom, he had one daughter. That's that who became our senior, even though her father was different. So, but after that, my mom again gave birth to about five children. mm. One died later. Paragraph. Uh, I think we should pause here. We should pause here so I can continue tomorrow, God willing. Mm. Uh, yes, we should stop here. Thank you for listening. So, for this period, I'll read my autobiography. I didn't finish it, but when I get to the end, I can then say things verbally about myself till we get to the end. And I will also, sorry, I will also highlight problems that I face, letters that I was given wrongly, especially dismissal letters, because I endeavor to be righteous. When even my salary was suspended, my salary was stopped abruptly by the Ghana Health Service, denying me of 32 months' salary and some other monies. So we'll continue tomorrow, God willing. Thank you very much. Ila lika, bye bye.